Semper Fi, everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of Recon Jack. I'm your host, United States Marine Corps veteran and living historian Chuck Lynch. On today's episode, I'll discuss the Marine Raider Stiletto, which was the knife issued to the Marine Raiders and a few other Marine units during World War II. At the start of World War II, the Mark I trench knife was the only knife issued to Marines. The Mark I was introduced during World War I for trench warfare, but its knuckle duster hilt was cumbersome and contained nearly 1 pound of brass, making the knife expensive to produce. In addition, the knife could not be held in the fencing grip position, which is the preferred position for the thrust. The Marine Raiders, however, desired a dagger designed solely for knife fighting, but none was available that met their requirements. The history of the U.S. Marine Raider Stiletto began at the Commando Training Center in Scotland. The stiletto was patterned after a similar British-made knife, which was in use at the center before the arrival of the Marine Raiders. The U.S. Marine Raider Stiletto was the first knife in United States Marine Corps history to be designed by a U.S. Marine Corps officer, the then Lieutenant Colonel Clifford H. Shuey, who retired as a brigadier general and was formerly in charge of the Engineer Division at Headquarters Marine Corps. Shuey largely copied the British pattern, but changed the material specifications of some components to reduce the need for high-priority strategic materials. These changes would eventually result in durability problems for the Raider Stiletto. The Raider Stiletto was designed in 1942 and officially issued on a selective basis to the Marines, with priority to elite units such as the Raiders. The knife was manufactured by the Camillus Cutlery Company, with 14,370 knives produced. In addition to Raider units, it is known that Scout and Sniper companies of the 1st Marine Division were issued the knife, and some members of the 1st Marine Parachute Battalion also acquired them, either by barter and trade or by unofficial requisition from quartermaster stores. The Raider Stiletto was originally issued to the 1st Marine Raider Battalion commanded by Colonel Merritt A. Edson, and to the Marines in the 2nd Marine Raider Battalion commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Evans F. Carlson. The Marines of the 1st Raider Battalion found the knife to be well designed for silent killing, but was of little use for any other purpose, and too frail for general utility tasks. After the first combat, many of the Marines in the 2nd Raider Battalion exchanged their knives for general purpose, short machetes, and hunting knives. Marine Major General Oscar F. Petros, a veteran of the famous Makin Island Raid and author of the book Bless 'Em All, The Raider Marines of World War II, recalled this about the Raider Stiletto. It was pointed out that it should never be thrown, as it was designed as a handheld weapon to be used only in combat. It was also pointed out that it was brittle and would break even if just dropped, particularly the point. The Marine Raider Stiletto was designed for one purpose, killing the enemy, and its design was not compromised. The knife was a finely designed, almost delicate, single-purpose weapon, which did not include a variety of other tasks normally associated with a machete or utility knife. Weighing 1.5 pounds, the Raider Stiletto was designed hilt-heavy to lie in the hand as to reduce the risk of dropping. The knife featured a tapered, double-edged blade with stiletto-sharp tip and diamond-shaped cross-section, sharpened on both cutting edges all the way to the oval crossguard. The knife also had a slender, symmetrical grip with a middle convexity. The hilt was die-cast using zinc aluminum alloy, which exhibited the desirable characteristics of sharp casting, low shrinkage, low cost, and minimal use of scarce war priority metals. However, over time, it was discovered that the zinc ions in the alloy tended to leach out, leaving the casting extremely brittle. As a result, more than half of the few Raider stilettos still in existence today have very fine hilt cracks or entire portions of the hilt missing, with pieces having simply flaked off of it. The Raider Stiletto blade was approximately a 1/4 inch longer than the British-made knife and considerably thinner, and it is believed the thinner design was a manufacturing compromise rather than an attempt to increase the effectiveness of the blade. The knife's blade was stamped out of steel sheet stock. Had a thicker sheet metal gauge been used, it would have been more costly. In addition, it would have required more steel, a commodity which had to be conserved during the war. The flat knife blank was then machined to the diamond cross section. Due to the thin tip, The knife was not designed to be used for opening ration cans or as a pry bar to open cases. By comparison, the British-made knife was more expensive to make, but stronger because it was drop forged to shape, a process which strengthens the steel, then hand ground to final finish. Within the same basic model, 4 different variants of the Marine Raider sheath have been noted and identified. These variants include the 4 combinations of with and without steel staples at the throat portion of the sheath, and with and without steel tip plates on the front and back of the sheath to prevent the sharp tip from piercing the scabbard and injuring the wearer. The purpose of the row of staples at the throat was to prevent the sharp knife from slashing through the sheath. Unfortunately, these staples could severely scar the stiletto blade, and it is believed that the sheath variants evolved by trial and error as the late issues had both staples and plates. The Marine Raiders found they could fit the sheath behind the standard issue M1911 pistol holster by inserting the sheath body between the holster body and belt attachment flap, and by tying the tip of the sheath and holster together with the tie-down thong. This gave more room on their web belt and made both the pistol and knife available to the right hand. The Marine Corps began issuing the 1219C2 K-bar knife, a combination fighting and utility knife, in 1942 due to the problems of the Mark I. By late 1943, the Raider Stiletto was replaced by the new Marine Corps fighting utility knife, a change welcomed by Red Mike Edson's Marines. Due to the fact that the knife was one of the first Marine-designed and Marine-issued knives, as well as it being issued to a special unit, it remains a collector's item today. Due to the issue of the decomposing zinc alloy handle, the stiletto is one of the rarest knives in the world of militaria and knife collecting, and existing specimens can be very expensive. The legacy of the Marine Raider Stiletto lives today on the insignia of the Marine Raider Training Center at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, as well as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Marine Raider battalions within the current Marine Raider Regiment. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Recon Jack, and perhaps you've learned something new. Stay tuned for more episodes as I continue to explore the hallowed history, traditions, and individuals of the United States Marine Corps. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell, and leave a comment in the section below. I always enjoy interacting with you folks and seeing the growth of this channel. Also, don't hesitate to tell a friend or family member, or email me directly to recon_jack@hotmail.com. Until next time, Semper Fi, and carry on.